Good morning and welcome back to Digital Dietitian. I am Allison, the dietitian here at the Fred Leroy Health and Wellness Center. Thank you for joining me for another Digital Dietitian talk. Today I will be talking all about digestive health, really diving into those hard-hitting questions you may have on probiotics, fermented foods, everything you need to know for digestive health. So thank you for joining me. If you are new to Digital Dietitian, welcome. Please read through the disclaimer at the top of this video. Make sure to comment your name down below so we know who's viewing. Ask me any questions throughout the video as well. I will get to those at the end here and answer those live. Or if I don't get to them, I will answer them following this video. So feel free to put any questions down below. You can also put any comments you may have throughout the video to share with others. So I'm going to wait about a minute or so for more people to jump on, and then I will get started talking all about digestive health today. Happy Thursday. Okay, just getting set up here. I hope you all are having a great Thursday and a nice spring. It's finally warming up a bit, so hopefully you're taking advantage of the nice weather depending where you're at right now. But get out there, get some sun, get some vitamin D, take advantage of spring. So excited, it is finally nice out. Okay, getting set up. I see a few people have joined. Thank you. So again, if you don't know me, my name is Allison. I'm a registered dietitian and a licensed medical nutrition therapist. I am your nutrition expert and digital dietitian. I'm so happy to do these talks on all different nutrition topics and answer your questions. So feel free to ask me anything down below. I like to answer them live, or if I can't, I will get back to them after this video. Put any comments you may have, anything you want to share with others throughout the video. Put your name down below. And I am going to get started today. So today's topic is digestive health. So what is digestive health? We think digesting our food. So we think about the gut, our gut. Maybe you've heard that word gut health before. So when we eat food or drink things, it goes through our digestive tract. So anything from our mouth all the way out. So that includes things like our stomach, our small intestine, our large intestine, which is also called the colon, and then all the way out. So that is our digestive tract. So anything we eat or drink goes through it. Some of the food is broken up, then it's absorbed maybe in your stomach, some food's absorbed in your intestines, and then we get all those nutrients into our body. So there's actually things that are in our digestive tract. We call this our gut, which has healthy bacteria, also other types of microbes. These little tiny things you can't see, you'd have to look under a microscope, but they're alive. We have lots of different little live bacteria throughout our digestive tract. We actually have them on our skin as well. So healthy bacteria that help keep us healthy and functioning. So we want this bacteria in our digestive tract. It does a lot for us. So we want to have lots of them, and we want to have diverse different microbes. So lots of different types. That's very important. Now everybody's unique, so everybody has different types of bacteria, different amounts. It really varies. There's a lot of research just starting on this topic, so we don't know a whole lot yet, but what we have been seeing is that if you don't have a lot of the good bacteria, if you don't have a lot of different types of the good bacteria or microbes in your body, those have been associated with things like diabetes, inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's. It also is associated with arthritis or asthma, An unhealthy gut is actually associated with a poor immune system, even more inflammation in your body. So your gut, all that healthy bacteria, helps keep you healthy, preventing disease, preventing illness or inflammation. So we want to keep our gut healthy. A healthy gut also helps make things. So the bacteria actually will use the food and it'll actually produce things like vitamins, such as B vitamins or vitamin K. So they do a lot for you. So we want to keep our gut healthy. One thing I want to make note of is that genetics, age, stress, medications, and our environment has a lot to do with our gut as well. So although nutrition plays a big role in health, we can't forget about the other factors as well. It isn't always one simple answer as much as we would like it to be. So that's a little background on our digestive tract, our gut. So basically everything we eat goes through us from our mouth all the way out to our bottom, and we have good, healthy microbes in there to help us digest food, absorb nutrients, produce nutrients, keep us healthy. So some things that maybe you've heard about that can keep our gut healthy are things called prebiotics, probiotics, and fermented foods. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what prebiotics are and their benefits. I'm going to dive into probiotics and fermented foods, so breaking down the difference between those. And then I'm going to give you some takeaways, so some information for you to move forward and make decisions about what you're going to eat, how you're going to take care of your body, maybe some discussions to have with your doctor as well. So first, starting with prebiotics. Maybe you haven't heard of this one before. I think probiotics is a word we've heard a lot of, but what are prebiotics? So prebiotics are a naturally occurring, non-digestible food component that help the healthy bacteria or microbes in your body grow. So they're kind of the food source for them. We also have seen that prebiotics can help us enhance calcium absorption. So they help the good bacteria, can also help nutrient absorption like calcium. So prebiotics are good. Now, where would you find prebiotics? It's actually in a lot of different foods. So things like fruits and veggies and whole grains actually have prebiotics. So think fiber-rich foods as well. Some very popular prebiotic foods include bananas, onions, garlic, asparagus, artichokes, and beans. So maybe foods you enjoy, maybe foods you eat here and there or all the time. So more fruits and veggies, more whole grains have those prebiotics. So we really want those to help our gut stay healthy. So keep eating those fruits and vegetables, switch to some whole grains, add in some more fiber foods like beans or lentils to get those prebiotics in. So the next step is probiotics. So how do prebiotics and probiotics work together? Prebiotics are, like I said, they promote good bacteria in our body. They kind of feed them. And probiotics are the good bacteria. They are the healthy microbes in your gut. So we want some probiotics. Now, I think nowadays we think about probiotics as being like a supplement. But probiotics can actually be found in food, and that's traditionally how we got probiotics. So probiotics and fermented foods kind of go hand in hand. So we often think of fermented foods as being a source of those good bacteria, but that isn't always true. So I'm going to kind of break that down a bit. Now, fermented foods, so what is fermentation? This is one of the oldest ways to preserve food. So think of things like in the past how they made alcohol, they fermented food, or canned food like pickles or other fermented veggies. So in fermentation bacteria or even things like yeast. They feed on the sugar or the starch in the food and preserve it, help it last a lot longer. So we've been doing this, our ancestors have been doing this for so long. Now, not all fermented foods contain probiotics. So things that can make the good bacteria kind of disappear is if we heat the food, if we filter it, if we pasteurize it, so get rid of all the good bacteria. These can destroy the bacteria or the microbes in the food. Now, even if there isn't any good bacteria in it, fermented foods still have lots of benefits. Sometimes fermented foods make nutrients more available for you to absorb. They can help with digestion. So I know some people I work with are lactose intolerant, so maybe you can't properly digest things like milk or ice cream, but sometimes foods like yogurts or cheeses are fine, and that could be because of fermentation. They help you digest the food a bit better. And then fermented foods also offer different flavor or texture to the food as well. So just another added satisfaction there. But some foods that have been fermented that still contain those live bacteria or good organisms are yogurt, some cheeses, maybe things that are new to you or you've heard of in different countries, such as sauerkraut or kimchi or kombucha. Some new words there. Some other fermented foods that you may be familiar with are pickles, miso, olives, sourdough, or even wine. In general, some fermented foods can really cause gas and bloating as well, so just something to be mindful of. So it's always good if you want to try these foods to go slow and let you see how your body responds to them. But those are fermented foods. Like I said, not all fermented foods still have the live bacteria in them afterwards. But probiotics and fermented foods kind of go hand in hand. So fermentation is a process of preserving food that we've been doing for a long time. Sometimes there can be healthy bacteria in that food that you eat that help keep your gut healthy, but not always. But still, fermented foods do have benefits to them. So some takeaways to kind of break all that down for you. Some things I want you to remember. So prebiotics promote good bacteria and probiotics are the good bacteria. So it's good to have a little bit of both. Now, in general, I like to stay away from supplements unless it's needed. Supplements, especially probiotic supplements, aren't regulated for safety. So we don't actually know what's in it or how it's going to affect your body. So that's something to really talk to your doctor about before you were to try. But we went over some good fermented foods, some that may even have good probiotics in them. So that's always a good place to start by just eating these foods first of all. Try some yogurt, try some pickled veggies. Maybe you want to try a drink like kombucha. I actually have one here to show you. There's so many different brands out there right now, but it's a tea usually, so it's like a black or green tea base that's been fermented and has good bacteria in it. So that could be a fun drink to try. But start with food. Use caution if trying supplements. Another thing I want you to remember is that probiotics, some foods start out with the good bacteria in them, the probiotics in them, but if it's been heated or not stored correctly, it can lose the probiotics as well. Some words to look out for are naturally fermented. This process usually helps preserve those probiotics, keep them staying alive for you to consume. And just because it contains a probiotic does not mean it's going to change or repopulate the bacteria in your gut. So we're still learning so much about probiotics. So just because you consume them in food or drinks doesn't mean it's going to change your body. But we do know there are some benefits to fermented foods. So as long as you use them with caution, depends which ones you're using, there can be some good benefits to having fermented foods, especially if you consume them with those prebiotic foods, those fiber-rich foods as well. So something you can try, maybe do a fruit like bananas and try it with yogurt. That way you get the prebiotic from the banana and then the probiotic from the yogurt. As simple as that. Something you can try tonight. So when it comes to our digestive health, we're learning so much about our gut and how it's different from person to person. But we do know there are some benefits to prebiotics, probiotics, and fermented foods. So maybe you try some yogurt, or if you want to try something new, some kimchi, which is from cabbage, or some miso, which is from soybeans, or maybe even a drink such as kombucha, and really just start to try and experience the different flavors and use of these fermented foods and see how they make a difference in your health. But just know that not one food, not one meal or supplement is going to make a difference. It really takes everything. So like I said, your environment, your genetics can affect it as well, but really working on what you can, your lifestyle, how you're eating can make a difference. So I do encourage you to try some fermented foods. Keep trying to add some prebiotic foods, so some fruits, vegetables, and whole grains to your diet, and see how your digestive health changes over time. If you ever have concerns about your health or some food or products you want to try, always talk to your doctor or a healthcare professional before going forward. We want to help you make those informed decisions to put your health first. So that wraps up my talk today on digestive health. Hopefully you learned a little bit, maybe something new on prebiotics, probiotics, or fermented foods, or just what we even mean when we say gut health or digestive health. So I hope you enjoyed this brief talk today on that. I'm going to take some questions now, so feel free to drop any questions below. I'd be happy to answer those. I see a question about alcohol specifically. So alcohol is typically, it goes through that fermentation process as well. So things like beer or wine, it's sometimes produced from yeast, or it feeds on the sugar, and that's how alcohol is produced. So that's a good example of the fermentation process. However, it's not a source of probiotics just because of how it's heated, pasteurized. Alcohol isn't a good source of probiotics. But if you've ever seen or been to like a brewery, that's how the fermentation process happens. So a good example of it, but no, not a good source of probiotics, unfortunately. If you're interested in trying something with probiotics, just go try some yogurts. That's a good place to start, usually a food we're pretty comfortable with. If you're feeling more adventurous, maybe that kimchi or kombucha, some other products as well. Okay, I don't see any more questions right now. Feel free to ask me any questions you may have. I'd be happy to answer those on today's topic for digestive health. If there's ever any topic you would like me to talk about, you can also put that below in the comments. I love your suggestions, going with topics you all enjoy or have questions about. I want it to be helpful. Today's topic was a little bit different, digestive health, not something we talk about a lot, but it is something we all experience. So trying to keep our gut healthy, trying to have regular bowel movements, digest our food, absorb our food well to get all those nutrients from it. So I think digestive health is kind of a fun topic to dive into. In the comments below, I'm gonna put a few of the foods we talked about. So maybe if these are foods you haven't heard of before, you can look at the spelling, look them up, see if maybe it's something you'd be interested in trying. So I will be sure to put some of those fermented foods, some with probiotics that we talked about. But the main one I always encourage is yogurt. That's a good place to start to get some probiotics in there as well. And as always, eat more fruits and vegetables, fresh, frozen, or canned, to get some of those prebiotics in as well. So I don't see any more questions coming through. Thank you all for joining me for today's topic on digestive health. I talked about prebiotics, probiotics, and fermented foods, kind of differentiating which foods have prebiotics, what fermented foods are, and then some takeaways for you to maybe try some foods, have some conversations with your healthcare provider, and just learn more about digestive health. I always say our stomach is our second brain. It has a lot of, it affects your health so much, and it really can be different from person to person as well. Oh, before I wrap things up, I saw another question come through. So, are bananas good for you? Yes, I don't like to label foods good and bad. All foods have some benefit. So even things like candy bars give you energy. So there aren't good and bad foods. Now, there are foods that are more nutrient rich. So things that have lots of vitamins and minerals and fiber. And bananas being one of those. So bananas are a great source of potassium, other vitamins and minerals. And like we talked about today, bananas are also a source of those prebiotics. So the good bacteria promoters. So yes, banana would be something good to try, a good source of prebiotics that maybe you could try with yogurt to combine those prebiotics and probiotics as well. So thank you for that question. If any more questions come up, I will definitely answer those in the comments down below. Thank you all for joining me today for another Digital Dietitian Talk. I will put some more stuff in the comments, so look out for those. If you have any more questions, comments, topics you'd like me to cover, keep commenting down below. Thank you, and I hope you join me again for another Digital Dietitian Talk. Have a good day.